My check. All right. Welcome, everyone to the Black Bama Broadcast. All right, I'm your host, Barbara Raven. Let's get this fantastic show on the road. Have I? Oh, I've done that already. Oh, it's good. Good thing I've done all that already. Cool. Let's get this show on the road. So, where's my PDF? I didn't actually get. Let me move this across. Just going to. I've got some videos that we're going to play today. I didn't get to blackify them. That means, make sure that they can't be, striked and all that. I don't know if they're copyright sensitive. Well, let's see. So this, if I was dragging it across. Hold on. Let me find my thing first. So, hope everyone's had a good time. Don't forget, tell a friend, we're live. Meanwhile, we're going to find the PDF of the show. So we are on the, if I'm correct, the 257th show. All right, cool. Let me drag these in here. They're not the best, but there you go. Now open up this file. All right, here we go. So let's find it now. All right. Last time we had a nice show, went over a bit. That's always good when the people request a bit longer because we're having an important talk. There you go. So this is the 257th show. Oh, fantastic. Read mode. I think that's done. Yeah. Yes, is that right? No, view read mode. Where's read mode? Edit view. I can't find it, mate. And that's the wrong one. My machine's looking a bit different today, mate. I don't know what it is. I've lost everything. Why is everything different today? If I update something, it's annoying when this happens, Whatever. We'll find it at some point. No, dude. All right, cool. Let's. It's gonna bug me now. I can't find the thing I was looking for. Yeah, go read mode. Ta-da! There. Fantastic. All right, cool. So let's go as we always start. Is this even the same document? All right, yeah, the new beginnings. All right, so retroactive expectations. Right, so something that we always have to do is just remember the atrocities inflicted upon the ancestors and the community in the past, and present and behave in a way that reflects this. All right. And don't forget to reconnect with Black people locally and globally, and to form networks to teach each other about different cultures and repair the Black community of the historical trauma that caused the self-hate challenges and health issues, and then rebuild the Black family, Black economics, Black nations. So this is retroactive expectations that we understand our ancestors would have fought when they were going through a terrible time, like an atrocity at that. And the way is, how can we do this kind of retroactive expectation, this ancestral obligation, this community commitment? Well, we can practice Black Batman, you see? And that's what we do here. We practice Black Batman, and this is what it is. So this entire podcast is about the lifestyle of Black people, continuously helping Black people to recover from, unfortunately, the challenge of the past and the present, to be honest. Very bad. All right, cool. So let's go from, I need to sort this document out anyway. But so where are we? Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out Your Liberty and Match Fit. These are guests. And if you've got anything, if you're a business, a Black business that you want to promote on the show, that you need support for, whatever, let us know, because we have a slot for the Black economics. Right now we're currently helping promote from Black Health Match Fit, and from the Black family standpoint, Black Liberty. We just need one more for the Black economics, so we can do the community promotion. So let us know if you want to go. Cool. And then, okay, so we send a link out. People can jump on to talk. But when you do, if you can remember, and this is quite important, discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. These are the 4D values. So this is what we try to remember when we communicate, especially, I would say, in any kind of interaction with Black people, especially when you're trying to find solutions and be progressive. Remember these, because what happens, and you'll find today in the topic, it goes on, but they tend to be a capacity, a tendency to just get really angry at each other. So we kind of just a reminder not to do that. Try to use derogatory language if possible. More descriptive. I find that's quite helpful to use descriptive language. It's very hard. I mean, usually in the past, we would talk to brothers and sisters, and It seems that people get so used to like being free with their tongue and free in their family and free when they're speaking that when they come online or they do any kind of meeting or something, they want to have that kind of freeness of their language. Sometimes it causes arguments and anxieties and they don't even know. But this is a challenge. This is what happens. This is the problem. That's what we're going to deal with. Right. So we started a continuous kind of train 2 weeks ago. And we're continuing, I guess, to this day. And that is leadership that is inexperienced or predatory. So maybe I should put a question mark there. I don't know. So we discuss how to support leadership that is inexperienced and how to tackle predatory behavior. So it's more like we're talking about not knowing. So when managers and leaders come in the community, we don't know if they're predatory or they're actually really you want to assume they're amazing, right? But if they are not amazing, if there is an error there somewhere, the errors could be within two paradigms, right? One is their inexperience, right? They're inexperienced, and that could lead to error-prone behavior, or they're predatory, meaning that they're only really there for the most part to extract and leave, and their intentions isn't as pure as we would like to think it. So it's how do we identify that, and how do we have codes and methods to try to find out if something is predatory or an experience or just good. But we're focusing on the error prone today. And anti-black enablers, we discuss what is an anti-black enabler and how the behavior benefits racists. So what I'll do is I'll start the show with just two random stuff that's connected to the topic. Then I'll probably go into anti-black enablers, and then we'll go into the leadership because I've got more videos for the leadership stuff. And the anti-black enablers came because there was some European guys who were talking to me and saying, "Oh, have you seen this video? Do you agree with what it was?" And I was like, yeah, this video must be what Europeans and white people use to defend themselves from racism, so from the accountability of it. So good to highlight that. But we know what it is, but I'm just going to break it down. Okay, so let's start with one or two random videos that came in that might. Oh, you know what? I didn't actually down. There was a video I wanted to download about black women's hair, and some gay homosexual brother was starting some campaign. You probably know about it. You probably know about it more than me. And people tell me about it, but I forgot to download the video. I might be able to do it now, to be honest. While I'm playing one video, so I can download the other. Speed. All right, let me see if I can find it. I hope I put it in there. So let me play one or two videos, and then hopefully these videos don't have no music in it and get a crazy strike. Video. Here we go. Let's find it. This is there we go. Let's see. Color one. Let's try this one. This is that's super castle.
And my husband is also from Africa, but of a mixed background. He is on the darker side in terms of complexion, but his family is not. Prior to our marriage, he told me that he grew up in a colorist family.
Oh.
He was told by a relative that he should never marry anyone darker than his own skin tone. As a result of this, he grew up with a huge complex about his identity and also racial ambiguity. I'm really struggling to cope with his issues in our marriage. From time to time, he makes derogatory comments about the physical appearance relating to black women on TV. He openly makes comments about the hairs, the wigs, makeup, etc. I can't help that he secretly resents being black, or worse still, me. It almost feels like he married me out of retaliation or to be rebellious against his own family. By the way, his family actually fully supported his decision to marry me, but I do get the feeling that they did actually want something else. However, they actually don't cause me any major wahala whatsoever because I have created healthy boundaries for myself. However, right now, it's more him who stresses me out. I love my husband, but this lack of self-awareness is destroying my trust in him. I'm scared to even have children with him in case he instills a complex in them because chances are they will be darker than him. When I bring all of the above to his attention, he shuts me down completely. He says I'm full of drama and he doesn't want to talk about it. He is not open to therapy either. The irony of it all is that my personal preference is a dark-skinned black man. Mixed race and light skin has actually never really been my thing. I dare not say this to him, lol. Are we just as bad as each other? How do we overcome this as a couple? Or should we just walk away from the marriage?
So yeah, so colorism there, but that's part one of colorism. There was another video as well. I saw this. I thought maybe we've covered it many times before, but maybe we need to cover it again. And this was there was another one about a similar kind of thing. But this one, I'll probably more likely cover this angle of it, to be honest.
Crazy. In my whole life, black men have traumatized me the most.
Really?
Hands down. I've got a lot of insults, but if I was to categorize this is gonna sound very bad, I know, but I've got the most insults from black men, black women, than white people. I'm not even making this up.
Crazy.
I'm not even making this up. I've got the most insults I've received.
That's the stats.
The most insults I've received in my whole life of living is from black men and black women and white people.
Wait, so just give me in the essence, like, what do the black women or black men say, and then white people, what do they say? Like, just sum it up.
Oh no, the black men and black women, they will come from my parents hands down. Anything in the book, on social media especially, anything that they can think of, they've probably said it to me, or like on my social media page. Like one thing about, for some reason, they just feel comfortable saying it. And at the same time, if I really cared that much, all I have to do is delete the app. Because one thing I will say about social media, it's very optional.
It is.
I can't sit here and victimize myself and be like, oh, they're saying this, they're saying that, can they stop? No. Really and truly, if I really cared, I can just delete the app. They will never see my face again.
It's true.
Continue on with life.
It's true. It's so true.
Yes,
The moment you've been waiting for.
I'll play the music. Yeah, that's where you get the strikes. Cool. All right. Well, that's terrible. But yeah, I remember that sister. I've seen her before in some kind of feed or something. But yeah, that kind of colorism in the, and obviously you're seeing, coming from the black community, men, then women, and then apparently European. So yeah, that I just saw that. So we're not going to cover that. Just something that we might cover, but we covered it. All right, let me. Is my tea warm? A bit hot. I'll wait for that. Yeah, I guess we can. Have I got any other videos? Let me check about any other videos. I think that's it, really. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, let's start with we'll start in reverse. We'll start with the second topic. Don't forget to tell a friend we're live. This show is set up for the community. So it's just for us, and if there's any kind of topics you want to cover, you can say, and we shall do it. We always try to find solutions and try to find ways to unify the black community and that good stuff. So the topic we're going to go is anti-black enablers. Let's watch a video, and I'll give you the black brain perspective on why I'm playing today and how we can tackle it and learn from it. And if I'm sure many people are already aware of these kind of behaviors and how to deal with it, but nevertheless, it's never too late to refresh. Which one is it? Number 2, self-hate. That's the one. Let's play it. Go.
People didn't invent slavery.
So obviously, a gentleman here. I suspect he's got a page. Don't know much about him, but I assume this is his whole spiel. You can usually tell their persona. And he started by saying white people didn't invent slavery. So usually he's trying to set something. Just without even knowing the video, I would say he's trying to lessen the impact of the transatlantic slavery upon Europeans for a reason he knows.
In fact, they were the first to end it.
That's an interesting one. I think Malcolm X said, you can't stab me in the back and then pull it out. You can't stab me in the back with 5 inches, pull out 3 inches, and say progress. But that's what that essentially is. It's like you're harming. You've done something to benefit from a people group, and you've benefited for 400 years, and then you now want to stop it. And there's historical reason why Europeans want to stop, more than morality and stuff. It wasn't profitable. It was hard to manage, and also revolutions from Haiti and Jamaica and America. It was again dangerous because there was also a spirit of freedom that was taking all the enslaved Africans and black people. And it became problematic to try to keep it going.
Yet somehow saying this is controversial. Watch what happens when someone says it out loud.
The reason there is no slavery in the world today, I mean, there's a lot of slavery in the world today, but in the parts of the world where there's no slavery, is because the British Empire ended it. That's why there is no slavery.
That's interesting that this guy, the guy speaking there, is a Russian guy who lives in England. So he's got a controversial show, and I think he might be I don't know. Maybe his friend is a Jewish guy, and he's a Russian Jew. Maybe, I don't know. Can't remember. I think he might be Jewish as well. but he got a show in some BBC thing. It's quite controversial. But yeah, they're not best pleased with his delivery. That's another thing. When you look at the concept of slavery and how it was used, and then your approach to it is, well, we ended it, so 10 points to us. Yeah, it's a very interesting way to approach that.
That is.
So,
Well,
that's going to prompt
look, the
quite a
fact that
few-
you are uneducated about history doesn't mean it's funny. So let me educate you now. Let me educate you now. Let me educate you now. I know that the woke narrative and the anti-Western narrative on slavery. Oh, you're not practicing free speech very well, are you? You're not practicing free speech very well, are you? The moment I say something you don't like, you're not practicing free speech very well, are you, sir?
Thank you.
Let's be clear. Slavery is evil, but it's an ancient human evil.
So once again, and this is interesting. You got to think that what's happening here is this gentleman he's trying to just broaden a experience by a particular group. It's the same equivalent of saying something like, if your granddad got jumped going to buy some bread, and then we go to the police and say, well, listen, people get jumped every day. It happens. He said, yeah, I know, but I want the unique experience of me being jumped. I want that to be sorted. I know it happens every day, but I was jumped. I went to buy bread. They jumped. They took the bread, took my money. I'm going to report it. I'm going to find the guys who did it, and I want some kind of reparation for it, some kind of justice for it. So this guy, it happens everywhere. It was a human thing. Black people get over it, kind of stuff.
Practiced by everyone.
And when you say reparation, but everyone get reparations. Well, the thing is, we live in a country. We have an ethnic group that's connected to this, and we haven't received anything for it. And the institutions that enslaved us or benefit from it are still around, so we can actually have a claim to try to get somebody back.
To everyone. 4 years ago, I went to Ghana. I stood in a slave dungeon where people who looked like me sold people who looked like me to white people.
It's funny, the irony of this statement, what he said there is almost like a poetry, because he's almost today recreating that concept with his behavior. But it's almost like poetry, if you think about it. Obviously, destructive poetry, but that's what he's kind of doing there. And once again, what motivates these gentlemen to really go out and do the stuff they know? Let's carry on.
But long before Europeans
Big up brother Dominic, and big up CN Daily, and everyone else who's alive today and in the future time. This is your show, so however we want to do it, we can do it.
began the transatlantic.
The word for slave and black is the same word in my. Is that Abid? Are you in some kind of like North African country or Arab country? I know they have issues there as well.
Atlantic slave trade, there was a trans-Saharan slave trade. For over 1,000 years, brown Arab slavers sold millions of black Africans across the Sahara. Then,
So once again, this shows you that the Arab world, and I think the brother might be talking about that in the comment, for thousands of years. And matter of fact, the Portuguese learned it from the Arab slave trade, and obviously when the Europeans got it, it became a different thing. It was more chattel based. The other one was definitely, they both were brutal. Some would say that the Arab slave trade was more brutal in the sense of the men weren't allowed to breed, have children, in the sense of how they treated the people, eunuchs and this kind of stuff they were doing. As well as the fate for the women was obviously horrendous and an abomination. But either way, same thing went on in Europe. Evil. But yeah, okay, so there's two claims now against two massive kind of trades. There's the transatlantic slave trade and the Saharan slave trade. And you're from Africa. Okay, you're from Africa.
came the Barbary slave trade. In North Africa, Arab
Barbary slave trade was, for the most part, pirates who would go in the Mediterranean Sea and even as far as Ireland and kidnap people from anywhere they could find and sell them to slavery. These were Berber people of the type who were also but maybe even Berbers and Turks maybe operating as pirates. And this was the age of piracy that was where for like 100 years or so, for a long time, generally, but piracy was the way to make money. This was from North Africa all the way to the Caribbean and the Indian Sea and stuff.
and African raiders captured and sold over 1 million white Christian Europeans. China, Korea.
So, I mean, if North Africans or whoever, or the Turks or whatever, kidnap Europeans, and then let them sort that out. That doesn't mean that enslaved Caribbeans and African Americans should just now keep quiet. That's not a good logic, but maybe to him it is.
Korea, Japan, India, every one of them practiced slavery. Europeans did take slavery to another scale.
So even though these arguments, completely ridiculous, what it is, we're watching this video because I think pushing that there was something I was talking about as in what to call this behavior, and I think anti-black enabler is a good word. I think anti-black enablers is a good word. It's because, and I haven't got it here, but I mean, if you were to read, maybe I can read while you're playing. Let me read the comments as well.
When they came to Africa, but it's not because they were more evil. It's because they had the technology to commit evil on an industrial scale. So, which major power stopped slavery first? The British, in large part because of pro-human Christian values. The same values America was founded on. The same values that drove white Americans to fight other white Americans.
So maybe this gentleman, maybe he's like a born-again Christian or a strong European Christian faith. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe he's married to a white woman. I don't know. But the fact is, when you talk about groups, their religion or their ethnic group, whatever, you can always say that the good things they allegedly did, but they used Christianity as a means to enslave black people. If you Google the slave Bible, this was in the Caribbean, how they would give the Caribbean priests, give them a version of the Bible that had no rebellion in it, and then give them that, and then make sure they think that Jesus was white and this kind of stuff. And this was a way to make black people subservient. It was very successful. Ethiopia means Negro, black. So, okay, cool. Are you based in Ethiopia? Or are you based? My country, old generation works. All right, yeah, I assume so.
Americans to free black Americans in the Civil War. Values missing in places like Libya, where today you can buy a human being for $400. White people aren't better than anyone else, but they're also not worse. Yet, some black people are taught to hate white people, and many white people are taught to hate themselves. We keep pretending evil has a color, as if less melanin means less morality. That lie makes us ignore history and fuels racial hatred.
Yeah, so this kind of stuff, like, that's why I say, like, when it comes to you tackling or trying to express, let me actually turn this up as well, though. It's not getting anything. So I hope my fan doesn't make up a noise. When it comes to tackling this issue about racism and all this kind of stuff, and in the history of the Martha and all that kind of stuff, when you're talking to black people, just in general, try to be calm and collective, and try to come from a place more of logic and stuff. Rather than, who said something just that triggered? What did he say that triggered what I was saying?
Has a color, as if less.
Yeah. So you're not attacking or saying things towards Europeans because they have a color. It's because the institution of slavery was set up to benefit European nations, and it has devastated black nations, African nations, Caribbean nations, and black people in these places, and nothing has been done about it, and the legacy of that has not been amended. So it's not about colors, and also say color's one thing, but we're ethnic groups, isn't it? So the African Americans have a claim with the British. The Afro-Caribbeans have a claim to the French, the British, and Spanish. So you can break it down. So you don't just say black, white, because that's what they're trying to use this they're trying to use it to then take small case studies and go, well, he didn't benefit, that person wasn't there, he's from Australia, or whatever they want to say. So okay, it is bad, but we understand that racism exists, and we want to fix what racism has caused, and we want to do it on an ethnic level across the board.
Yet, some black people are taught to hate white people, and many white people are taught to hate themselves. We keep pretending evil has a color, as if less melanin means less morality. That lie.
I found this gentleman's post, but I found the only post I found was on the actual African page, so everyone's just tearing in. But he really posted on either his page and he put his name there. But I remember going in the comment section and like, you have Europeans and round of applause and hearts everywhere, and like, I told you, yeah, that's great, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And that's why it's done. And usually when you talk to them, they use this video as their case study.
It makes us ignore history and fuels racial hatred.
Yeah, sure.
Right now, much of that hatred is aimed at white people.
So once again, so this is what we're talking about, subservience. White people collectively are doing good. They benefited from the past. There's been no real bounce back accountability done. But yet you have gentlemen like this who want to center them in the issue about racism.
But why should black or brown people care? Because hatred is a hot coal that we...
Remember, the best strategy you can have for these people, for these gentlemen here, is to not have any anger or hatred at all, and just go on the facts, right? And that way it takes away their argument. It's not argument anyway, but it just makes them. It highlights the error that they're swimming in.
Hold in our hand, waiting to throw at another. It burns them, but it burns us too. It turns every problem into white supremacy while defending black degeneracy. And when the pendulum swings back...
And he's given an example where a European young guy in some American sport arena, I think it was this one, asked a guy who was performing or doing the sport, the athletics, what it was, and he was sitting, quote unquote, in a white area, and they're going. He told him, he said no, they're going to fight, and the black man defended himself with a knife, and then unfortunately the European child, the white child, got killed, and I think he might have got off or something like that. But that's the example he's using as hatred or whatever. It's very, so it'd be interesting to find out what it is. Is this man, like, the way he's talking, he might be in a white church or something, or he might have a white, or he just might, live and that's how he thinks. But usually there's a science behind the mentality of why, and that is just clickbait. I think this gentleman probably really does believe what he's saying.
White people react with hostility, and then they defend white degeneracy. The only way out of this is to stop making morality about the color of people.
That's an easy thing to do. I don't think people do that. I think they talk about race systems and how people can tap into those race systems, those racial biases, and how purchase of power actually has an outcome that you can actually test and review.
Because in our capacity for good and evil, we are all equals.
So maybe I would like to think, or maybe not like to think, that in this gentleman's head, he's really fuck. I've just said something there. But once again, the word I would push for us to use is anti-black enablers. This is I would use, and maybe I think it's ABE or whatever. I don't know. That's why I might push that when I debate now. That this is now known as anti-black enabling. Grit my teeth. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. So when you say Jim goes, thank you, brother, but I think you're practicing anti-black enablers. That's what you're doing. You're actually an anti-black enabler with this behavior plan, because you are now who the white supremacists are going to push him forward. See, the black man says it, whatever. And we know this is a technique that they use, but I think a word is you are enabling anti-black racism with your behavior. Like you and I guess it's similar to, like, drug enablers and Alcoholics Anonymous enablers, that kind of stuff, where you have these black brothers and sisters, their behavior pattern enables anti-black racism. And they really got a smile. And then when you look at the comment section, hearts everywhere, this guy's a genius, blah blah blah. He's the one good one, all that kind of stuff. And this is the thing. So anyway, I thought that'd be good. I thought that might be a term I start throwing around now, anti-black enabler, and blah 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 blah. But yeah. So anyway, we're now going to go to the topic at hand. So let me remove that. Go. Big up to On Code, the Barber. Big up to Sienna. Big up to Midnight Goddess. Big up to Brother Dominic and everyone else in the house tonight. This show is for you guys. So wherever you want, we will make it so. Our next topic, which is continuation of last week's topic, but in a different way, is leadership that is inexperienced or predatory. We discuss how to support leadership that is inexperienced and how to tackle predatory behavior. And once again, what I was saying, like I said when I first started, is when a manager or a leadership comes into a black community to do certain things, if they are not good, you can probably split it into two behaviors. One is inexperience, meaning that someone's inexperience or ego is going to cause issues, or two, they actually generally predatory, right? Some would say it could be both. That's possibly, but um, they're they're predatory, meaning they're really only there to benefit themselves, and essentially it might be a scam. The reason we say this is because obviously we've been checking. Um, yeah, we are all humans indeed. Okay, yeah. But even though we're all humans, we have certain groups of humans who have gone through something and they need to get it fixed. And this doesn't help. Anyway, so what I was saying was, what was that? Yeah, Brother Umar, he's going through some issues. So Brother Umar is making the school, or trying to, and we covered like some people wondering, is he? Some people say they think he might be panhandling, and some people say that he might be inexperienced. And my thing is, you want to be respectful. You don't want to point things at people. And how do you go about to find out? So let's just listen to what the brother says, and then we'll jump in. What should I play first? Let's see. No. Didn't I? Wait a minute. Where's? Please tell me I numbered this stuff. That's one. So where's number two? That's one. That's. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just wondering, family, because I didn't name it. Why don't I should have pulled the old one? So this is what he pulled.
FDMG Academy bank accounts are still frozen. Dr. Umar personal bank account is still frozen. Brothers and sisters, we are fighting this war against FDMG and Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We were supposed to get a refund within 4 days of our accounts being shut down. We still haven't got our refund. We still haven't got our refund. We still haven't got our refund. So, not only are the accounts frozen, make sure y'all hit my Venmo and my PayPal. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist. PayPal.me/Umar the Psychologist, or tap my Venmo. Text me for the links to donate to FDMG. Text me for the links to support Dr. Umar. 215-989-9858. 215-989-9858. On August the 5th, brothers and sisters, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a notice to auction off the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy campus for unpaid.
Right, for those who don't know, so he was raising money for the boys' school, the Frederick Douglass Academy, and it's been revealed that wherever the city's in, he's going to auction. I can't say it. Auction it off. There you go. Very lately, auction it off. I think it's down to due to he hasn't paid any bills. I think he actually inherited bills that he had to pay off, I think, and he hasn't paid them. I struggle to overcome my own racism and vice. Is it the C and the D? Are you say you're of African descent? Is that what you're saying? You're a black person from some of African descent. Is that right? A black African descent. You're saying some stuff.
Paid vacant property registration fees. I repeat, on August the 5th, the city of Wilmington, Delaware, took out a lien to auction off the campus we bought, the campus we've been working on for 6.5 years. I was not notified of this. We were not notified of this. This past weekend, without an email, this past weekend, without a letter in the mail, this past weekend, without a phone call, the city of Wilmington put a notice on the door handle of both of our schools, informing me that if we don't pay the past due vacant property registration fees and outstanding utilities by the 25th of Black August, they will sell our campus. Brothers and sisters, can I ask you a question?
Hold on, what did he say?
On the door handle of both of our schools, informing me that if we don't pay the past due vacant property registration fees and outstanding utilities by the 25th of Black August, they will sell our campus.
So what he's saying is, if they don't pay this past bill, and that's in 10 days, they're going to auction it. Let's be. So, okay, so there is a way. I mean, this is, we'll get to that bit in a moment.
Brothers and sisters, can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Why were we not notified that they were going to try to sell our campus? Brothers and sisters, why are they trying to sell our
I think they have been notified. That's the notification, isn't it?
campus at the very moment that our accounts are frozen? Brothers and sisters,
That's interesting. Is there a correlation between selling and being frozen?
is it a coincidence?
That's interesting.
Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that the city of Wilmington is trying to sell properties that we own and have been working on continuously behind our backs? They were going to sell our schools behind our backs. They didn't even tell us that they were going to try to sell our schools. We received no notice in the mail. We received no notice by email. We received no phone calls at all that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door handle. Somebody stole one set of notifications and sent it to the YouTubian struggle streamers. Somebody stole the Frederick Douglass High School paperwork off the front door and sent it to the struggle streamers. But luckily for us, Sister Ra Ebony was able to get the paperwork off the Marcus Garvey School before the haters stole that paperwork. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe, brothers and sisters, and please let me know your opinion. I believe that they were going to sell the school, and they wanted to sell the school before we found out. I believe that they wanted to sell the school before we found out. We were not supposed to know that they were going to sell our school. Why do I say that? We were given no notification. We received no letter in the mail. We received no email. We received no phone call that they were going to try to sell our schools. Instead, they put a notice on the door. In a low-income neighborhood, they put a notice on the door with rubber band and masking tape. They put a notice on the school front door with a rubber band and masking tape. Brothers and sisters, it gets worse. Back in April, when I found out about the overdue vacant property registration fees, I had asked the city of Wilmington if they could retroactively apply our nonprofit waiver. According to the nonprofit waiver for the city of Wilmington, if you are a nonprofit organization, they will waive your vacant property registration fees for 4 years. If you are a nonprofit organization in the city of Wilmington, they will waive your nonprofit vacant property registration fees for 4 years. If they would have applied our nonprofit vacant property registration waiver, we would owe absolutely nothing. We would owe absolutely nothing. We would owe.
So I think there was issues following the bank account being frozen, and one of the challenges of the finger scan on here is it seems that when it comes to the finance and the organization and communication, it's all literally going through Reverend Umar here. And he doesn't necessarily have a team. And that's why it's important to kind of have a team and just sort of say, whatever it is. Because right now only one person is responsible, so you have no idea what's going on.
Oh, absolutely nothing. But I asked them, and they ignored my emails for 4 months. They ignored my phone calls for 4 months.
If he's asking, that means he's aware of something, right?
They ignored our emails for 4 months. They ignored our phone calls for 4 months, and instead, the first time I hear from them since April, the first time I hear from them since contacting them April, asking them to apply our vacant property registration fee waiver to the past 4 years so we would owe absolutely nothing, they ignored me since April. They ignored me since April. No phone call, no email, nothing in the postal mail since April. And the first thing we find out, the first time we hear from them since April, is a letter on the front door of the school, affixed with a rubber band and masking tape. A rubber band and masking tape. Brothers and sisters, giving us 20 days to pay these back taxes. We already paid $30,000 for water that we don't even use. We just paid $30,000 to the city of Wilmington for water that we don't even use. And now we got to pay another $30,000 for vacant property registration fees that we shouldn't even owe because we should have a waiver. We should have a waiver. We should have a waiver. And it gets worse, brothers and sisters. It gets worse because they are raising the vacant property registration fee. They are raising the vacant property registration fee this fall.
Okay, she skips on this. No.
From the city of Wilmington will stop us. No sabotage from the sign on our door. This past Queens Forever, Connecticut, Africa, E5 have immediately apply our vacant property.
Yeah, I think he wanted a protest. I don't know what's going on with this, but I think it's going from kind of critical to more critical in the sense of his bank account's been frozen, and now they're trying to. So he has no access to the money, and they're going to auction off on the 25th. I said, and this is coming back at the time where ladies come forward to, I don't know what, I can't remember what, that seemed more like a private matter, and his daughter was complaining. It seems people happen at the same time. The thing is, when you actually look at those issues, his lady issues and his daughter issues, those are terrible issues, but they're not really, they obviously could connect to a character or whatever, but it is still kind of unrelated to the issue of building a school. That's a kind of separate thing. It doesn't really negate from it or move from it for the most part. But whatever has happened, he can't access the money, and he hasn't been paying any bills. So I need to find out, is it because it's new bills, or is it because he inherited the building with all the past bills need to be paid? And is that even like a normal thing when you buy the bills as well? Is that normal? I don't even know. I wouldn't know about it. Maybe you guys know more about that than me. I don't know. Do you inherit bills from before you buy a building? Probably. I don't know. It seems a bit. If you didn't want the building, why are you paying for the bills? But then I guess maybe you own it. I don't know. I don't know. That's a bit weird. But maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But all right, cool. So let's see. Have I got any videos of? There's some people who are talking about it. Let's see if we can get some. I can't really play because I might get striked. Let's see.
Especially in Black
you
guys definitely will be cancelled.
That's what this lady's saying. Some posted this too.
So loads of you have asked me to speak about Dr. Umar Johnson asking for money, and I really didn't want to, and here's why, right? Because some people love a mic more than a mission, and Dr. Umar had the talk, the charisma, the bars, but years later there's just still no school, bro. And reports say he's raised possibly millions for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and yet, as one journalist put it, you can't find one video of the interior. As of December 2024, it looks more like an abandoned building with a bad paint job. And now it's my account got locked, send me money. I'm sorry. So you're not even going to offer the people a meet and greet, no discounted event, no sessions with supporters. You're not just trying to do no work, no TikTok lives, just paypal.com. And the people sending cash are working people, not millionaires. They give like they're giving to the mosque or the church to feel like they're building something bigger. And that's really powerful if something actually gets built. But where's your graft? You've got thousands tuned in. Why not host a Q&A, sell tickets to a lecture, do signings, offer one-to-one consultations, even run a second day event to raise funds? I don't know if you spent the money or what, but if you're not financially literate, then talk to the people, be transparent. If your account's really got locked, you can still show us that you're willing to ground for it. Money isn't the only currency. There's time, skills, network access. Real leaders use all of them before taking from people who have the least. Look at Shaka Bars. He's transparent. He's building across Africa, brick by brick, showing receipts, showing progress. And that's the blueprint. Anyone can give a speech, but few people will do what they need to do to get stuff built. Anyway, I know I'm rambling, but I just don't understand how this has been working for him for so long. I'm just frustrated anyway. Let's talk in the comment section. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So yeah, let's go back to that. Okay. How do you get this to remove? So where are we? So yeah, what we talking about? We're talking about leadership that is inexperienced or predatory. Yeah. So obviously people are best pleased with Umar. But what I'm noticing the algorithm, like it might be just be in my feed because obviously I see one thing and there's tons of other things, but I haven't seen any real support of him in the situation, and maybe you guys have. And then I've seen obviously a lot of people who they're not within the conscious community, the black community, really, they're making videos as well. Some are very problematic, but yeah, I don't know the situation. I don't know if he's losing support or whatever, but I think before we accuse someone of being a panhandler or anything else, I think we started this conversation last week and we ended the show where it was like, I guess because I'm assuming he's talking about protesting, but I'm assuming at some point he's gonna, if not already, gonna ask for the money to pay for the the bills about it, right? And I think it's like 75,000, maybe around about that, which is quite a lot. So I'm assuming what the community could do if they haven't given up completely is like say, well, look, we've got skills that we want to offer, or and finance, of course, whatever. But before we can do any of that, we kind of need to like have kind of like an agreement or a team or a view of the books or have a hierarchy or something where we can have other people accountable to help you to in these areas that you might be inexperienced in, so this doesn't repeat, right? Or if it does repeat, we have a better defense mechanism. Because I think he said his bank account and the FTG account are being frozen, and that's that. So yeah, someone would have said maybe that, it would help people to be able to have a different account and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. So yeah, I think that would be the approach. Like rather than call someone this, that, and the third, get together, organize, and this is what we could do. Approach, and go, look, here's what we can help you with. Here's the options of getting out of this situation. But people are saying you might be this, you might be that, and obviously don't want to listen to trolls and that. But in order to make sure that trolls don't have a kind of voice, let's try to have a strategy of how we can minimize that. And that might be, we have a team, we have accountability, we have a hierarchy, we have other people who can access certain things, and we have someone who's in control of the books and someone who does the paperwork and blah, 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 blah. So that might be an idea, and that this is more, no, I'm not saying that someone isn't doing something negative. It's more so rather than accuse someone, you've got a method to definitely set up a scenario where you find out that's what is happening, and it's without a doubt. Now obviously videos are circulating of him like refusing help and stuff and saying why, and obviously that's not that's not a good look. If someone's trying to offer you help, why would you refuse it? But then it is a difficult thing to organize. But once again, I think this concept of being alone and being accountable to none, that's where we don't really have that kind of time and resources now, just not be accountable at all. So yeah, I think there might be one or two videos that I was responding. This is hot in this room. I'm not put the fan. I hope this fan doesn't make too much noise. Sorry if it does. If it does, let me know. But it's very hot in there, and my machine's gonna blow up if I don't put the fan on. That's right. Let's see. Let's see if I've got some other. This brother, what did this brother say? I follow this guy. That's what he said.
Peace, black family. So let me touch on this Umar Johnson situation, right? And let me preference this video by saying I truly dislike how black media apparatuses, only touch on the conscious community when it's time to degrade the conscious community. Like I never seen the source, talking about Umar Johnson when he was trying to raise money for the school. I never seen none of these black, so-called media, apparatuses talking about anything the community is doing, only when it's time to talk about, Brother Polite going to jail or possibly Umar Johnson losing the school. But other than that, they don't talk about it. So that's the thing number one that bothers me about this.
It's a very good point. Very good point. We mentioned before, but it's a good point.
Number two, for somebody who has done security for Umar Johnson for literally 12 hours straight, been by this man's side all day, right? I'm going to say that brother was humble to me. My experience with him was awesome, nevertheless. But let me also add this part too. Whether or not Umar Johnson opens the school, I'm still African. Whether or not the school gets taken, everything Umar Johnson has ever said doesn't go null and void. Like white supremacy still exists. A lot of people are saying, see, I knew he was a fraud, and Pan-Africanism is fake too, and we ain't African. Those two things are separate. We have to learn to separate the man from the mission, okay? As John Henry Clark said, bury the man, continue the plan. Whether or not the school gets taken, whether or not, whatever happens, we are still African. White supremacy still exists, right? And we must continue fighting against it and trying to create schools and institutions for ourselves. This is not a get off the hook thing. Oh, Umar Johnson, he failed, so guess what? We ain't got to do nothing. Now we back to the white man. No. That's what a lot of y'all are saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the brother on a personal level. Like I said, only did security for the brother. Got the utmost faith. Maybe a phoenix might come from the sky and the brother might get the money and the school might still open. I don't know. But I do know this. I'm still African. White supremacy still exists. All the things that this brother has ever said is still true. Now, all the scamming stuff, I leave that to all the other YouTubers, and I don't know nothing about that. I don't know anything about that. I donated to the school multiple times, and I look at it as a love offering. Whether or not the school still comes or not, I can't speak to that. I can't speak to that at all. But I do know that everybody right now is looking for a way out to stop being black, independent, and sufficient just because, this situation is taking place with this brother. And that's not the case. That should not be the case. So in conclusion, I wish the brother all the success. I hope he pulls it through. I hope the school does get purchased or whatever the case may be. But if it doesn't, that doesn't mean that everything he said isn't true. That doesn't mean you're still not African. That doesn't mean that you should not try to build your own institutions and your own, et cetera, et cetera. All those things are still true. Learn to separate the messenger from the message. We have to learn to do that as African people, to learn to separate the message from the messenger.
It's a very, very important point there. And we've been saying it for years, and everyone's been saying it for years. And it's a big challenge that some people struggle to do, right? You know what I mean? So, and that's why we say, like, how to approach this scenario. And the bro was right that he's talking about, a lot of these magazines and stuff will cover when things are going terrible, but when you're trying to do something big that's for the community, it won't even make first page. I mean, I went to the Million Man March in Washington, and absolutely nobody, including, I swear, BET, didn't even cover it. Obviously, BET is owned by Europeans or whatever. Maybe even Jewish people. I'm too sure. I can't remember last time I checked. But yeah, when the first Million Man March happened in Washington in '95, it was covered by a lot. And now this second one, no one. I was literally there, and I was in the city, and no one knew it was on. But even though it got 500,000 or something like that, people to go there. The coverage of it was bad, as in it wasn't an issue. Like, if something happened, if Farrakhan said something that they thought was bad, it will make every front of a newspaper, and that's to be expected. That's why black people have to really work together and have a code of how to deal with error-prone situations, And I think rather than accuse brother Umar of being a panhandler or someone who's just inadequate at doing the task at hand, it's at this level we're offering experience, offering help, but uh, there has to be a give and take. It's like in order for us to help, we have to guarantee that these errors don't happen again. And how we can do that is someone needs to be in charge of the books. Maybe we need to have a PR team, maybe even like whoever he trusts the most, having like a sit down and a communication of how to amend things. That's another thing. Like, just that ease of communication, a structure, so we can actually find out what's going down and all that stuff there. I've got some other videos of. Let me see if there's. I don't know if these would be tagged or whatever. Not you.
There's a
Maybe this one.
in Black African.
This guy, he might. I don't know, let me see. Show them.
You're looking.
Let's look at his approach to it.
And
I'm
I'm
not
not going to sit up here and say that there have not been times.
Wait, this guy, he's approaching quite.
When you see a man falling, don't laugh. Learn. Let's have a conversation about Dr. Umar Johnson. Now, I know we've talked about Dr. Umar before, and I'm not going to sit up here and say that there have not been times where I have been critical of Dr. Umar. And again, whenever you're a public figure, you're going to have people who are going to criticize you. But it's not without merit and it's not without good reason that Dr. Umar gets so much criticism. When you look over the past 14 or 15 years, depending on whose count you're looking at, Dr. Umar has allegedly raised well over $2 million, and there's still no school. We have heard about him allegedly being with strippers. We have seen him ask for donations and donations and gifts and gifts. And again, it's not like people have not sent help to Dr. Umar. But what I said in the last video, where I said that the danger that Dr. Umar runs into is that he becomes less about being a scholar and more about being a meme. Some of these shenanigans are to a point where they distract from the message. And every human being, myself included, has a certain amount of mess about them. I don't think that there's anybody who is completely flawless. However, something's wrong when that video came out, and if you haven't seen it, I'll recap it for you. The first video was him saying that he had been hacked. Somebody had called him and asked him to hold a couple dollars. He keeps money in an account. He's got a check-ins account and a savings account, and he's got a personal account, and then he's got the FDMG account. And he went to check his balance, and the bank had no record of him. So then he called the bank, and then the bank said that his accounts had been frozen because somebody had tried to hack, or it was under investigation. Things happen, don't get me wrong, but something is not adding up. And then between that and talking about whether or not, somebody's draws is funky, and Shango sticks being filleted, and listen, bro. And then, you calling people Pastor Bussy, and all of this is distracting from the mission. The mission is to build a school. Now, in all fairness to Dr. Umar, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what has happened. I don't know what will happen. But critics of Dr. Umar have said that the FDMG school stands for Funds Done Magically Gone, because it should not take millions of dollars and 10 to 14 years to build a school. And we can have arguments about HVACs and so on and so forth, but something is wrong. And I'm afraid for Dr. Umar's mental health. And I'm saying this at the risk of either Dr. Umar or one of you in the comments calling me a YouTube.
Could you be respectful, bro, for us, please?
YouTubian struggle streamer, which I'm not. It's Dr. Umar I'm concerned about. When you're asking the public for donations to take care of you, and your mother, we don't have anything other than what you're saying to go off of, it does ring a couple of alarm bells. And the other thing that I want you to keep in mind is we've been down this road before, and we have seen GoFundMe shut down Dr. Umar's account. We have seen Cash App shut down Dr. Umar's account. We know that at this point, he's down to PayPal. And at the recording of this video, he has not gotten his accounts thought out. They're still frozen. And what concerns me the most is we still don't have any definitive information. Now, there's going to be somebody that says, have you...
As far as joining, we're looking at leadership that are inexperienced or predatory. We discuss how to support the leadership that is inexperienced and how to tackle predatory behavior. And we're using Brother Umar as a case study. He's going through some challenges. They're going to auction off on 10 days, apparently, the school that I think he purchased. I don't know how much he purchased it for. I don't know if he revealed that. We don't know how much money he made. I don't know if that's meant to be... You know what? I think unless someone's trying to side with the tax or whatever, I think you should kind of reveal to the public how much you made. Because usually when you do fundraising stuff, you have like benchmark goals. Like if we get this much, this is what's done. But I don't know if he's necessarily revealed all that. And obviously now, people weren't best pleased with the building. I don't know if that's here or there, but it's now going to be taken away. His money's been frozen. The funny thing is, if it isn't connected to his daughter or his ex-lover kind of situation, I'm sure it probably isn't. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's coincidence or maybe it's all part of a... I'm just wondering if the black community tap into conspiracy quite heavily, and to think that all these things happen at once. His accounts get frozen, the shop gets auctioned, and his daughter and the ex-lover come out to... And when you think what they're complaining about, they claim that they don't like him as a person. They're not saying that they see him do anything. They're saying he's disorganized. He doesn't, which is a problem. Not looking after your daughter is a problem. And being disorganized is a problem, but it's not really, and I guess his behavior, that's why PR training is important. His behavior and becoming unagreeable and dislikable through that process. But I mean, if you did want to build a case that he's been set up, I mean, people believe in flying saucers and chemtrails. I'm not saying that that's not true. It is true. But people are flat Earth. That might not be. I don't know. But people are really into that. I'm thinking, if a guy is trying to build a black school and 4 things happen at once, and those 4 things, 2 of them are for tarnish his character and add stress, and the other 2 are going to lose his access to money and lose access to the thing that people pay for, then you can make that claim. But then, once again, it could all be just disorganization and stuff. I don't know. But just a thought there.
Donated to Dr. Umar's school that you have even donated several times. I want the school to work. I want the school to win. But as an educator myself, and as a person that is the son, father, and grandson and nephew of educators, I can tell you, I don't know how you can start a school without a staff. I don't know how you can start a school without any curriculum that anyone can see. I don't know how you're going to start a school when you do not have any students who have registered. We don't know anything, and that's a problem. When you invest in something, there's a certain level of transparency you get as an investor, so you know where your money is going. It's true with Isaac Hayes and Fanbase. It's true with Zucks in the early days of Facebook. It's true with any other corporate entity. It's true with any other business. If you're investing in something, you know what is happening, and you know there's a timeline that comes with that. I don't care if you're building a daycare or a lemonade stand. There has to be a certain level of, this is what's going on, this is where we are, these are the things that we need, this is what's happening. But almost every other week, like clockwork, there's some type of disaster. Before this situation happened where he had his accounts frozen, there was a situation where he said he was gone for 30 days. And I'm paraphrasing. So if I don't get everything exactly right, don't treat me like I'm a stenographer. Treat me like I'm a human being. But the gist of it was he had been out of the country as the world's most requested scholar and speaker. And he came back, and someone or some kids, according to him, had broken in to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy and done damage. And he showed that there was paint all over the floor, there was papers spewed all over, and he said that he needed $100,000 to get the electricity on, and they were going to be reviewing the camera footage to identify these miscreant children who would disturb the Prince of Pan-Africanism's tribute to young boys, which is the FDMG Academy. The only problem with that logic is if the electricity is off and it costs $100,000 to turn the electricity back on, what were the cameras running on? Black power? We want to make sure that Dr. Umar is successful and we don't need nobody hating on him. The problem with society now, especially black society, is if you say something that questions whether or not somebody's doing what they said they're going to do, you're automatically hating. And the more logic you give somebody, the more they push back and say, you just want to sit up here and tear down another black man. No, not at all. I know how hard it is. I get that this is not an easy undertaking, but where are the students? Where's the curriculum? Why have we not gotten the tiles in the ceiling replaced yet? I don't care how many times you show up with swatches. I don't care how many videos you shoot outside of your school, giving middle fingers to anybody who just doesn't blindly follow you with complete allegiance to King Kong consciousness. Why has the school opened yet? Why has it not opened yet? I don't see that being an unreasonable question. And when people start asking questions, all of a sudden, we get a block party. All of a sudden, we get some pushback. All of a sudden, there's some scandal. And again, has anybody checked on Dr. Umar's mental health? Has anybody checked to see whether or not this man is on the spectrum, if there might be a chemical imbalance, if there might be some inaccuracies on his balance sheet? I've seen people like Pocket Watching with JT and Lennon Honor and this one, that one, and the other. A bunch of people talk about the discrepancies in the publicly available tax returns of Dr. Umar. And my question is, when are we going to rally around him, or better yet, step in and say, we like what he's doing?
This is a good point, man.
Let's either try to help or do something counter programming to what he's doing. In other words, are we doing any black-owned Pan-African educational co-ops, any book exchanges, anything that can help us get to the bottom of this so that our black boys have a place where they can be? I have talked at length about the YN apocalypse and how it's important for black boys and young black men to have a place to go where they can get discipline, a sense of self-worth, a sense of self-esteem, some guidance. I think all of those things are important. I think physical fitness is extremely important. As someone who's lost 340 pounds, I can tell you physical fitness changes every single thing you do. But have we checked on where Dr. Umar is mentally? Has he had any type of fitness assessment? If the President of the United States has to go through fitness assessments when dealing with other leaders of the free world and having his finger on the button, I think it's not unreasonable, or not at least within the realm of reason, to ask.
How much did he say he lost? He said he lost 300 pounds. Well done to that brother. Isn't that like 22 stone? Am I wrong? I must be wrong. He lost 22 stone. How big was his brother? Must be a wrestler.
Ask for a psychiatric evaluation, to ask for physical competency to ask for full and complete.
Anyway, yeah, I'm just this is the brother. So yeah, so those that we're looking at leadership. So the brother dropped some good points there, and we're in agreement. Whenever people are going wrong, especially if they're doing psychostructive, offer some help. And so that works two ways. One, if they need help, you're giving it. But two, if they really are predatory, that will highlight it. That why would you not want free help? And also at a certain point, the person doesn't have the options anymore. At a certain point, things are going wrong. Things are getting shut down. You demand more money, so now you kind of like you no longer have that hand you had before. You can't play the same hand you had before because now you're this is also like like you've got friends and family who come to you for money irregularly, and at some point you say, you know what, I could give you money, but I'd rather and I need to help you manage how you spend the money or what you spend the money on because it's now become a problem where you might be getting yourself in worse problems. So you need more than just be giving you money. You need some kind of assistance and method of paying back and all that kind of stuff just to make sure you don't repeat it. And this might be if you get yourself in trouble, you can't be asking for money to get yourself out of trouble. At that point, you need everyone to step in and have an intervention and stuff. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. For those who are joining, the two topics we tackled today are anti-black enablers. We're talking about black people who they speak in a way that enables anti-black racists to get off the pardon me, get off the kind of this to get off the kind of like the what's the word, the accountability train, and and so because of that, they have value in that kind of community where they can just make videos or talk publicly about slavery wasn't that bad and racism doesn't exist, or more about black on black crime and not all white people are bad, blah blah blah. But all that and overlook the important elements that make up the condition that black people go through globally. So yeah, we'll talk about anti-black enablers and using that word whenever we say, oh, that's an anti-black enabler, or that's anti-black enablation. Or is that a word? Is that even a word, enablation? It's not a word, is it? Sounds good though. Enabler. There's anti-black enabler, enableizer, enable. I'm sorry. Is that even a word? Enable that doesn't that. Enabler. Is that a word? No, that's not a word. So I don't. Maybe I'm getting madder than I really am. But it's late, I ain't gonna lie. I am. We'll look up that word. What would that be? Enabler, enabler. I don't know. That's brain freeze. But whatever. Either way, I will look at. But yeah, it's it goes on in it. But now we've got a term we can throw around. And obviously, we just looked at their leadership that's inexperienced or predatory, and and that's another thing. PR is important, and also personas and how people perceive you, and also once again, bro, we want to do it. Like the thing with this kind of like internet world and something what they call the conscious community. The conscious community today isn't like how the conscious community was with Dr. Ben and Francis Chris Wellstein and Claude Anderson and John Henry Clark and Robert Amos and Jawanza and a whole lot of this goes on, right? The way they would conduct themselves in the old, you're looking at like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and before. The way it was a very professional way of conduct. Those videos see of some of the brothers who were said in the conscious community swearing, fingers up, name calling, talking about sexual acts, and that. And that's the thing. This kind of like discipline. I think there's the thing is, a lot of people want to have this kind of freedom flex way of operating it in social media, but and then obviously the whole womanizing element and stuff, and it just all comes back not good in it. So I think there needs to be some kind of discipline, and sadly, I think like when you got conscious community guys effing and blinding and swearing and profanity and womanizing or manizing or whatever it is, and none of this woman, but the shows are about it's very sexual, provocative language and stuff, and the area, the words the what you're trying to promote or do, it's based upon schools and children. Yeah, it's like it's almost like all conscious means is you're aware of racism. No, it's okay, but it's when you want to reflect upon the consciousness you have and how you want to remain conscious and make the world, at least your community, sorry, aware and disciplined to handle these challenges that most people go around ignoring. So I think that's probably a topic. So when we started, the first one was colorism. We looked at when we first started. So that's a good topic. Maybe I should write that down. Like is vulgarity, is that something that should be? Is there a value in ironing out these kinds of like these issues in the community where people have a private life and they don't try to put their private life on. I was looking at some arguing some religious conscious some um, the Hebrew brothers, and they'll argue or whatever, and now they're revealing all sexual stuff about their lives and how they do this fantasy stuff. I'm like, yeah, we need to have a separation from the everyday whatever they're doing and what they present, the conscious actual achievements and what they're trying to do, and keep whatever's going on in your life private and deal with that. I try not to mix the two, you know. But yeah, anyway, that we've covered. I've gone way past it's 1 hour and 20 minutes. So unless anyone wants to jump in, I need to. I'm very hot. Today was today a hot day. I think they said Tuesday was going to be very hot, and it's quite hot in this room. So maybe I'll put the fan on one more time. But yeah, no. If anyone else, let me know if you want to jump in. Any more topic? Maybe next week's topic we might continue it, but also might kind of colorism, but also maybe that's a good one about why. I guess you'll see it here when I'm speaking about language and discipline and decorum. There's a massive pushback. Like people want to be able to. How they behave in their house, they want to behave in school. They want to behave in a meeting. They want to behave on the internet. They want to behave in Clubhouse. They want that flexible freedom, and then they almost want to be like Richard Pryor everywhere or Eddie Murphy everywhere or whatever it is, right? And there's no separation in the way language is used and how we communicate. And that's why, unfortunately, with this Robert Umar scenario, you have an issue where it's coming out where an ex-girlfriend is even emboldened to talk about her sexual life with him. And then he's even emboldened to try to critique her and her sexuality or whatever it is and have like derogatory jokes about whatever it's about. And this is normal. This is like if you can't imagine, you couldn't imagine the conscious community of 20 years back even engaging in such stuff. But it's almost like this is how far, like the best we have, like is that this is the most constructive we have in the conscious community is vulgarity and sexuality and name calling and alleged, panhandling, alleged whatever, or even the fact that that's even an argument is a topic in itself. So yeah, this is interesting stuff. Anyway, I'm tired. So family, if there's not, is there anything you want me to cover? Let me know. I did. I don't know if CN Daily's gone, but you did say something. You should say I struggle to overcome my own racism and bias daily. That sounds like I don't know. I assume you're a person of African black descent. I'm assuming, and we will probably call that colorism or tribalism or whatever. I don't know what you're going from, but that would be a good topic to cover. But I mean, you're always welcome to jump in and discuss that as long as we try to be constructive. That's if you are in fact, someone within the black community, because it's hard to tell nowadays because people, use the internet. But yeah, we understand what you mean by that. I struggle to overcome my, and yeah, that is an important topic because we did watch the first two videos. One was of I think a light skinned black man who married a dark skinned woman, and I think maybe within his family, I don't know if he was biracial or light skinned, I'm not too sure, but within his family there was colorism there, and that impacted, I think, their relationship. And then we looked at a kind of famous YouTuber sort of who says, you know, she's been mistreated more by black men than black women than white people because of her physical phenotype and her black features and other stuff. And that's her, that's allegedly what she's gone through. And we believe, you know, what she says, what she says. Well, yeah, it is a topic we have to cover, whatever. And more, which is you can never not cover it. But that's everyone, family. I'm going to, I've got tied up some stuff, get things done. So I'm going to go. If there's no one going to jump in, I think. Let me just. I think I did actually put the link in the top. I probably haven't, but you know, whatever. Come on, granddad. So it's there. So just in case anyone wants to jump in, but if not, we are good. Like I said, we only cover an hour. We cover 2 hours if people jump in. Sometimes we go to 3 hours. Last week we went to like 3 hours. But generally, it's a 1 hour show, and this show is for you. So, also, if there's anything you want us to tackle, leave the comments in the section. Like, please tackle this issue. Also, before I go, we go with promote. Don't forget, we did look at Your Liberty. We're promotion there. So check out some of these links. Oops, daisy, cancel that. What's going on there? Let's start with the link. This is a black social groups where people talk to each other and mingle on Zoom and these kind of apparatus. And this is, you know, and there are some in there where you're meant to meet other people to start, you know, bonding, community stuff, and maybe even constructive marriages and stuff for black families, or how to advise on how to raise black families, all this kind of stuff. That's Your Liberty. So don't forget to check that out. And there's some of the links there. You can copy and paste. I mean, you know this thing. If I click it, doesn't it? If I click it, if you click on it here, it might just work. Oh, and I think is that above if you commented? No, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at all message. Sorry about it. Paste link. And also we look at Match Fit, a health instructor brother who's also trying to start some kind of class to teach the youth. And he's, you know, to contact him if you want to help out. Well, if you've got any students who want to do some of those classes he's talking about, each one teach one sessions. There you go. And we've also got one space for any black businesses. If you want to promote yourself, we can give you like an hour slot where we promote your business and we talk about if the community can help in any way. You know, whether it's online, whether it's in the shop, you know, all that good stuff. Any kind of black economic support, we're happy to do and to help motivate and devastate and like all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to end now because I've got to go. I've got a lot to do, but you guys are fantastic. Check us next week. So for those who practice black betterment, know you're important. And for those who don't practice black betterment, know you are loved. All right. Have a good one. And black betterment to all, and to all black betterment. Goodbye. Bye. Bye.